So Equidem's new report is on Expo 2020 in Dubai. It finds that migrant workers across sectors are being subjected to racial discrimination and forced labor. Really quite shocking findings that has taken us 6 months of really difficult, challenging circumstances of investigation to uncover. So under international law, there are basically 11 indicators of forced labor, or basically someone is being compelled under the threat of a penalty to work against their free will. What are some of those indicators? We find retention of passports, being charged illegal recruitment fees, large sums of money that mean that the person is basically in debt bondage. The workers not being paid on time or adequately being paid, or not being paid at all. And of course, workers being harassed, intimidated, bullied, and simply not being too afraid to complain about their situation. These are classic forced labor practices that we have documented happening to migrant workers on Expo. There's also the issue of racism, and that's something that comes out very clearly in our report. And let's be honest about this, that of course, any kind of foreigner working in Dubai can face problems. We've seen that before, whether you're from United Kingdom, Canada, or anywhere. But in fact, if you are from Asia or Africa, especially, if you happen to have darker skin, if you happen to be a woman, your risk of being exploited is much higher. And that fundamentally goes to issues around racial, gender, other forms of discrimination. And I think that's fundamentally what the situation is. So Equidem's research was over the last 6 months until quite recently. So we're looking at the end period of the construction up to right now today, that there are workers being subjected to discrimination and forced labor practices. The thing to really stress to you is that we're worried this is the tip of the iceberg, because Dubai and the United Arab Emirates is a very challenging place to do this kind of research. There isn't actually generally permission given for independent human rights researchers. So yes, this is happening right now, and it could be happening to many hundreds, if not thousands of workers beyond the ones that we've documented. Now, of course, the types of workers you're getting in Expo right now are slightly different. These are more the service workers than the construction workers, the infrastructure workers you had before. But what's really interesting is that because we have such good investigation abilities, we've been speaking to workers even in the last few weeks. And what we've found out very clearly is that these problems are still there. What you have is on paper, some very good protections, not without some problems, but they are very much about what's on paper and not about reality. And so, yes, what's happening is happening right now. What we've documented, yes, it started 6 months ago, but it's still happening now. We don't see any evidence to suggest that things have suddenly or magically got better because Expo has started.